Well, this is the new-ish Hammond Collection Tiger Raptor. This is the old Amber Collection Tiger Raptor. Here's a render of the Tiger Raptor from the Lost World. And here's that Hammond Collection Raptor again. It's just not doing it for me. While it does have a passing resemblance to the Velociraptors from the Lost World, it's just not particularly accurate. And the thing is, Mattel showed us that they could do better with their Amber Collection version. They just chose not to. Fortunately, it's fixable. So that's what we're going to do today. The first thing we've got to do is swap out those feet and the head. Okay, we really didn't have to swap out the feet, but hey, in for a penny, in for a pound. The standard Marco Makes replacement head is a little tight on this guy, so I printed this one 5% larger and it is perfect. And of course we retain whatever limited range of motion there already was with this neck. Nothing we can do about that. Well, there is, but the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Now that those replacement parts are on, we're going to base coat this entire figure with toasted marshmallow. The color, not an actual toasted marshmallow, that would be sticky and not help us in our goal. Once we've finished base coating the body, we gotta make sure that we get that carrot looking tail too, which will look more like a parsnip than a carrot when we're done with it. Now that the Velocicarrot is a nice pale base color, we can put it together. The tail just pops on. And now we can paint a dinosaur. I've loaded some yellow ochre mixed with warm buff into my airbrush. And starting with the head, we're going to lightly airbrush that yellow all the way down the neck and the body, as well as on the front of the leg. And of course we need to airbrush both sides of the dinosaur. This yellow is the first step in fading into an orange color, because the raptor shouldn't just be straight up orange like a carrot. They got it right on the Amber Collection one, or at least a lot closer to right. Ugh. Okay, back to the repaint. We have made it to patterning. This is the part where our raptor earns its stripes. Using black paint and a toothpick, I'm going to draw a line down the middle of the top of the raptor's head. It'll go from the back of the head to about 2/3 of the way down the snout. The snout stripes will come off of this line and almost look like an inverted Christmas tree. The end of that line terminates in a small stripe at the back of the skull. Like so. We might want to sharpen the toothpick for this next part. It's time to drag those snoot stripes down from the top of the head. They'll angle forward at an almost 45-degree angle. You don't have to start here, but I like to start with the head and work my way back. Once all the snoot stripes are in place, we can go ahead and start marking out where to put the rest of these stripes. Now, the Tiger Raptor does have a lot of stripes, but Mattel went really overboard with this one. Now, I think every Tiger Raptor should have a little bit of individual variation in it, but I like to space out 3 stripes on the top part of the neck, 2 stripes on the bottom part of the neck, and usually 6 or 7 stripes on the body. For the tail, I like to do thinner stripes about halfway down. When I reach the halfway point, I like to make the stripes about twice as thick, but also twice as sparse. Once we've marked out the tail, we can move on to the legs. I'll usually put 3 to 4 stripes on the thigh, and mark out 3 more stripes below the knee. And since we don't want this dinosaur to be completely asymmetrical, we're going to do that on both legs. Once all of those stripes are marked out, I'm going to go ahead and just draw the stripes on the arms. 2 stripes on the upper arm, and 3 stripes on the forearm. Once the stripes on the arms are done, we can go ahead and drag those stripes down from where we marked them out earlier. This is a lot easier if you thin your black paint with some water and use a toothpick. The paint will flow cleanly over the body and give you nice sharp stripes. Whenever you're painting classic Jurassic, I recommend printing out a page from the Dinosaur Style Guide from Paleo Publications. It's free and a great reference material for painting these dinosaurs. Whether you are just starting customizing your own toys, or if you're a multi-billion-dollar toy company, it's available for anyone to use if they want their dinosaurs to be accurate to the source material. Anyways, let's get back to that striping. The method for drawing these stripes is the same from the top of the head all the way to the tip of the tail. And really, a large part of it just comes down to the consistency of your paint and the tool you use to draw them. My personal recommendation, of course, is the toothpick, or cocktail stick for you folks across the pond. But regardless of which continent you live on, we still don't want a lopsided dinosaur. So we're going to put stripes on both sides. A fun little fact about the Tiger Raptor repaint is that at this point, You could go either way with having a Lost World Tiger Raptor or a Jurassic Park novel-style raptor, which are described as yellow with distinctive stripes. Which reminds me, I haven't painted any Jurassic Park novel raptors for a good while now. I might be overdue. Don't forget to do the legs too. This raptor is going to need something to walk and run on, and it would only make sense if it matched the rest of the body. Once those legs are thoroughly striped, we can move on to the next step. And you're not going to believe this, but the next step? It's more stripes. Sorry guys, the Tiger Raptor actually has a secondary set of stripes. They're shorter, thinner, and nestled between the main stripes. Now, due to individual variation, you don't have to do all of them between every single stripe. And you can do them longer, shorter, thinner, thicker, whatever you feel like. Now, once we get all of those stripes finally out of the way, we can move on to something a little bit less stripy for this raptor. Like speckles maybe. This next bit, I'm using some chestnut that I've cut with warm buff to make it much lighter. And I'm going to use this to do a series of stripes along the lip line. The lip line stripes are very prevalent in all of the concept art by Crash McCreary, but they've only made it on screen very faintly. Rexy has them, the Doe has them, and the Tiger Raptors have them. These stripes essentially line up with the snout stripes, and they're most noticeable and prevalent on the Doe Tyrannosaurus. They're very faint on the Tiger Raptors, but it's one of those cool little details that I do like to add. Although, because of how faint they are, and because of individual variation, you could completely omit them. I doubt most people would even notice. When you're done with those lip line stripes, you can go ahead and add speckles on the face, around the jaw, and down the neck. This paint is very light, just a few shades darker than the base coat. Now, my theory is that the more speckles a dinosaur has, the happier the dinosaur is. So I'm going to carry these speckles all the way down from the head, down the neck, and across the torso. And I'll probably speckle the crap out of the legs and feet too. Now, we're not going for a Jurassic Josh level of paint detail here, but we do want to do better than the original paint that was on this guy. After I've thoroughly speckled this raptor with that lightened chestnut, then I'm going to use some regular chestnut and do even more speckles. Chestnut's a very orangey brown, so it'll tie in nicely once we actually spray some orange onto this raptor. Speaking of which, we're getting to that part. Using Harvest Orange, we're going to lightly spray all of the dorsal areas of this raptor. Only lightly. This orange is very bright, and we want to create a fade with that yellow. So just like when we're using red, a little bit goes a long way. But just a little bit of orange is going to make this raptor look a lot more tigery. Which is kind of the goal, you know, being a Lost World Tiger Raptor and all. Now, remember what I said about creating a faded effect? I'm going to add just a couple of drops of burnt umber into the Harvest Orange in my airbrush. And we're going to want to be really careful with this. That burnt umber is going to tie in the patterns really well, but because of how dark burnt umber is, we do run the risk of completely obscuring them. So again, just lightly with this stuff. In addition to the dorsal areas of this raptor, we're also going to want to hit the tops of the hands and arms, the front of the thigh, the shins, and the feet. And again, be very careful. We run the risk of both obscuring the stripes, as well as spraying this darker color all over the counter shading, which we really don't want to do. I'm positioning my hand in such a way as to shield a lot of the counter shading. It means that my hand ends up a little bit orange-brown, but it does help to keep me from screwing up this figure. And it's nothing that a little soap and water won't take care of. Alright, this raptor is just about ready to mess up some Marlboro men, who should not have gone into the long grass. But we're not done yet. There's another cool little feature on the Tiger Raptors that's often overlooked, and that is a purple eye socket. It's one of those tiny details about the Tiger Raptors that's often overlooked, but when you see a Tiger Raptor with a purple eye socket versus no purple eye socket, man, the difference. You want a purple eye socket, trust me. See what I mean? Well, now that we have that striking eye socket done, it's time to hit the inside of the mouth. For that, we are going to use my favorite dinosaur inside of the mouth color, Classic Caramel, with just a little bit of metallic red. Once we've knocked out the soft tissue for the inside of the mouth, we're going to do the eyes. Now, for JP1 Raptors, I use Color Shift Green, but for the Lost World Raptors, their eye is much more yellow, so I'm actually going to use Inca Gold with just a drop of Color Shift Green in it. It's going to tone down that striking green color quite a bit, but it's going to retain that brilliant glossy sheen, which will give it a more lifelike appearance than the glass eyes that it came with. Although admittedly, the glass eyes on the Tiger Raptor are a vast improvement over the previous glass eyes on smaller figures. They're not perfect, and I'd still prefer that the small figures just not have glass eyes, but they are a vast improvement. Credit given where credit's due. Using a fine-tipped paintbrush, we'll just apply that Tiger Raptor eye color, and try not to get any slop on the eyelids. With the base color of the eyeballs done, we're going to go ahead and take care of the claws. I'm just going to use gloss black for the claws. Burnt umber with a lighter dry brushing would probably be more accurate, but the gloss black is going to contrast more with the rest of the Raptor and really show off those sharp claws. Now, Mattel actually used what looks like a very glossy dark brown or dark gray. It's kinda hard to tell, so I concede that potentially their claw color might be more accurate than mine. But since my Tiger Raptor doesn't look like an angry carrot, I'm not gonna worry about that too much. Although I guess just because it doesn't look like an angry carrot doesn't mean it isn't an angry carrot. With the claws done, it's time to do the teeth. Now, generally I mix a little bit of yellow in with some antique parchment and use that for my dinosaur teeth. But I want these teeth to contrast a little bit more than normal, so I'm just using straight antique parchment. And that'll give them a nice, beautiful smile. With the teeth done, we are nearly finished. But those beautiful eyes do need a pupil. And since this is a Lost World Raptor, as opposed to a Jurassic Park 3 Raptor, he is going to have slit pupils, as opposed to round ones. And I'm going to use a sharpened toothpick to apply those. It's a delicate operation, but I think we did it. Well, with the eye done, I guess this Raptor is done. Time for some dinosaur glamour shots.